Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Shark House Entertainment, and I am your host, Brian Gatto. And tonight, I went to go see Thanksgiving. A new slasher film from director Eli Roth. And it's based off a faux trailer from 2007, so 16 years ago. Long time waiting and waiting for this slasher movie to come out. And what are some of the things that I noticed right off the bat? The grain from the trailer is gone. Like, they had a whole bunch of fake grain. It looked really good on the trailer. Now it's all digital, but it's to be expected. They weren't going to release a film with a whole bunch of grain. The only other film I can think of modern era horror that had grain or any kind of old technique that or style was Oculus Origin of Evil, where they had the little circle blotches, I forget what they're called, to indicate the reel needed to be changed, which is just an added effect. This had no film grain at all. So if you're going into this movie expecting to see something akin to the trailer, you will be sorely upset, which I can understand. I mean, you wanted to see something similar to the appearance of an early 80s, late 70s slasher, and what we're getting is a 90s style slasher with digital camera work. The filter is just, it's very modern. Problem with that is that even though it tries to be like Scream or an early 80s mystery slasher, it doesn't have that film stock. It has the polished look. Kind of feel a little bit cheated, but I do have hope that they release an unrated cut, maybe even a version with the sprockets and grain. That would be awesome. Now, let's get into some of the pros. The kills are over the top and gory as hell. I've had this standing theory where they rate a movie with strong, bloody horror violence and gore, which is what the MPAA classified it as, and then there's not that much. They do that to sell the movie to you. So when you see something extreme in the MPAA rating, like rated R for strong, bloody horror violence and gore, take it with a grain of salt. Hellraiser 2022 is an example of that. It wasn't that gory at all. They had that same rating. Or you take another example like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 or this, and there's tons of gore. It's savage as hell. It's a very fine line you have to work with. You either have to believe that this film is going to be insanely gory, or it's going to be held back and they just use the MPAA rating to grab your attention. Another pro is the setup. It's a Black Friday massacre where several people die. And it's pretty insane and crazy, and it's not played for laughs too much. This could have been handled a lot like Krampus, where the opening scene is just like, oh my god, that's so ridiculous. No, it's insane. Insanity ensues, and people are being trampled left and right, so it's a pretty brutal scene. The characters are okay, cannon fodder for most of them. Some of them survived, and I'm like, wait, who are you again? Not really, but they were not really that important to the story whatsoever. Certain characters disappear throughout a good chunk of the film. The killer was awesome. There was a scene that was in the trailer, the original trailer, that was tinkered with a little bit, and I think that was a good idea, because they're going around looking for people in John Carver masks. The killer obviously has to really be careful with that. So he does. He's very undercover, I guess you could say. Not that he wasn't already. The music was okay. Nothing was too memorable, nor did it really stand out. It was done by Brandon Roberts, who was a frequent collaborator with Marco Beltrami, who is a famous horror movie composer of the modern era. He composed films like Scream and stuff. Brandon Roberts recently did Pet Sematary Bloodlines, or Bloodline. I've only seen half of that movie. I gotta finish watching it. But Thanksgiving, it had a decent score overall. I think people are so eager for that next big slasher to make a great franchise out of it. Terrifier is the top god with that right now. But Thanksgiving, it's a solid slasher if you're wanting a 90s style slasher, but people who wanted a 70s and 80s grindhouse flick are going to be disappointed. That kind of leads into my cons. I felt cheated about another thing. There are scenes that happen in the trailer. They're at this point iconic amongst the family of horror that know about them. One of those scenes stands out high above the rest. It involves a trampoline. Now, the scene is in the movie. I won't spoil if anything comes of it. It's there, and it does have a weight to it. But at the same time, they really should have pushed further with it. I mean, like, you have that scene in the trailer where she jumps and lands on the freaking knife. You were like, how does that scene extend out? How does it end? Why couldn't we see it? I'm fairly certain that people are going to be disappointed about that too. There's also scenes in the trailer that were not in the final cut. The scene at the parade was in the movie and it was handled pretty well, like I said. The scene with the trampoline was in the movie. It's iconic. The dinner scene at the end was there, but was missing a certain image. And yeah. Although I do like that at the end, at the dinner scene, there's no kids like in the trailer, but there is a scene with kids during the parade where they get sprayed with blood. Like, he had to get them in there somehow. He had to get a couple kids getting attacked or sprayed with blood to make it all controversial and shit like that. Shocking, to say the least. Would I recommend a Thanksgiving? Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst slasher out there. It's certainly not up to the expectations of people who were excited to see this film based on the trailer alone. If you're going to this thinking, oh, it's a modern slasher, don't know that it's based off an old trailer, well, old to this day and age. I mean, it's only 16 years old. I would say you will have a great time with it. I think that's all I have really to say about the film. I did enjoy it, just not what I was expecting, and not what a lot of people are expecting. Something was off. And that something's probably the grain or the lack of kills that were in the trailer that are not in the movie. Because the trailer is extreme compared to this. This is a modern Hollywood of movies, so of course it can't be that extreme. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. You've been watching Shark House Entertainment. I'm your host, Brian Gatto. And make sure to hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. And as always, subscribe. Gobble, gobble. Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.